This is part 3 and our final part of our interview with Judge Mary Jane Trapp, who's running for Ohio Supreme Court. In our last question, we asked why you were going to run for the Supreme Court, and you said because they need somebody like you.
Right.
Specifically, what do you bring to the table that they need, that they don't have now?
What I bring and why I believe that I'm uniquely qualified at this time to diversify the court is you have to understand the Supreme Court does two things. There's a decisional side. They hear cases. They don't have to hear every case, except death penalty cases go directly to them, and some what are called original actions. But there's also the administrative side of the court, which is equally important because it regulates, the Supreme Court regulates lawyers. They admit lawyers, they discipline lawyers, they regulate the practice of law, and they also regulate the entire court system in Ohio. So take a look at my background. 25 years in the trenches at all levels of state and federal court. I have handled so many different cases, from landlord-tenant to large business cases to wrongful death cases, probate, domestic relations cases. I've handled such a broad range of cases. I don't think there really is anybody on that court that has the depth and breadth of practice experience over 25 years. I like to say I became a judge the old-fashioned way. You know, it used to be you'd spend the first half of your professional career laying the foundation, learning your trade, laying the foundation upon which you could rest a judicial career, because you've had the experience then of being in a variety of different settings. You've had the experience of sitting across the table from someone and explaining the law to them, telling them they have a case or not having a case, and working through their miseries with them, because that's what lawyers and judges do, except for an adoption. Most of the time people come to the court system because they're in some kind of misery. So I have that kind of experience that really nobody else has on the court. I also have the administrative experience, not only through my work here at the 11th District as being an administrative judge, but I was president of the Ohio State Bar Association. I have worked for my entire professional career, and I'm still working both at the state and the national level on issues of judicial administration and legal reform. And there really isn't anybody with that kind of experience that can impact the administrative side of the court.
You're running as a Democrat against Republican Judith Lanzinger. Mm-hmm. Why you and not Ms. Lanzinger?
Well, you know, she's very unique, and I'm very unique. And the question is, what kind of uniqueness does that Supreme Court need today? And when I look at the composition of the court, both in the philosophical and political, because as long as we elect judges in the state, we are running with political banners. You know, you have your party label, you take it off when you put your robe on, but in order to become a judge, you have to go through the political system. And, you know, as I said, Chief Justice Moyer, the late Chief Justice Moyer, said the perception of Ohioans is that we don't have that kind of diversity, because it truly is right now an all-Republican elected court. We have one justice, the Chief Justice, who was appointed, who is a Democrat. But I think people want to see some balance on the court. And I think with the passing of Chief Justice Moyer, who was very active in terms of judicial administration, legal reform issues, he was very engaged with the organized bar in collaborative efforts to reform the system, make it better, make it more efficient. I think I can start to fill that void. He left some very big shoes to fill. But to find someone that can sit on that court that has both the long-term practice experience, the appellate judicial experience, and the legal reform experience, I think that's the kind of unique person you need on the court today.
Okay. Your being unique and her being unique is a very broad term. I know you just explained your uniqueness. What's her uniqueness that you feel that isn't quite what the court's looking for right now?
Well, Justice Lanzinger describes herself as, and she's the only judge in Ohio, and now the only justice who's ever served on all levels of the court, from municipal court up through the Supreme Court. And so that does make her unique. But I think judging, if that's basically what your career has been as a judge, we're somewhat removed. We're somewhat removed from the day-to-day trenches practice of law, and frankly, when you go to the appellate level, you can be removed from the real world because you can become, that's why I call it a monastery. We read documents. We're not in court every day. And I truly believe that judges should be seen just not on the bench. And I've used my Bar Association work, because I've continued to be active both in state and local Bar Associations and at the national level, because I'm a delegate to the American Bar Association, to keep me in touch with the real world, what's going on in the trenches. And I think that's what we need right now, based on what I'm seeing as an appellate judge coming from the Supreme Court.
How's the campaign going, and what are your chances?
It's going very well. The downside is that people aren't really engaged in judicial races, so they don't know who I am. They don't know who she is. We're neck and neck, basically, even in the dispatch poll, but there's this huge group of people, 62%, who have no clue. And that's why I'm put over 70,000 miles on my car, visiting almost every county in the state, have my presence on my website, maryjanetrapp.com, so that I can get people. The hardest thing is getting people to consider the judges. And then they come and find out. They can see me, they can talk to me, they can ask questions, they can send me emails, and then hopefully that 62% will start moving toward my side of the ledger.
My last question for you, and probably my most serious question. Being a lawyer first, what's your favorite lawyer joke?
My favorite lawyer joke. Oh, well, it's a lawyer-judge joke. There was a hunting dog. He was a great hunting dog, and he was called Lawyer. And he was the best hunting dog around. But then he got a new owner, and the new owner renamed him Judge, and he didn't want to do anything.
Oh.
So, I probably shouldn't say that as a judge, but every time somebody says that in a group of lawyers, they go, oh, yeah, okay.
Well, thank you very much, Your Honor.
Thank you.
We appreciate the interview, and good luck.
Thank you.